Hello, my dear students of Benguet State University. Welcome to our online class. I am your teacher, Jan Lasea.
Ladies and gentlemen, a blessed day to everyone. This is my fifth lecture in our subject, IT 121, Platform Technologies. In my previous lecture, you learned the sixth-level design of modern computer, and hardware and software are logically equivalent. Today, we are going to learn the invention of microprogramming. In the sixth-level design of modern computer, the level 1 microarchitecture level, the operation of the data path of the CPU can be controlled by a microprogram or can be controlled directly by the hardware. Let us learn more about microprogram. The technical term microprogramming means of programming the central processing unit of a computer by breaking down instructions into a series of small steps. Let us relearn again or re-acknowledge again the definition of the term microprogram, a built-in program within a microprocessor consisting of a series of arithmetic and logic steps that enable basic instruction to be carried out. That is the meaning of microprogram. It will perform arithmetic and logic operations. It is a built-in program within the CPU or microprocessor. The first digital computers back in the 1940s had only two levels: the instruction set architecture level or ISA, in which all the programming was done, and the digital logic level, which executed these programs. The digital logic level circuits were complicated, difficult to understand and build, and unreliable. In 1951, Maurice Wilkes, a researcher at the University of Cambridge, suggested the idea of designing a three-level computer in order to drastically simplify the hardware. This machine was to have a built-in unchangeable interpreter, or the microprogram, whose function was to execute instruction set architecture or ISA level programs by interpretation. Because the hardware would now only have to execute microprograms which have limited instruction set instead of instruction set architecture level programs which have a much larger instruction set, fewer electronic circuits would be needed. Because electronic circuits were then made from vacuum tubes in the 1940s, such a simplification promised to reduce the tube count and hence enhance reliability. A vacuum tube is an electronic device consisting of a glass or steel, and it has two or more electrodes between which electrons can move freely. When it is positively charged, it allows current to flow. If it is negatively charged, no current will flow through the tube. A presence of current electricity indicates a signal of on or 1. The absence of current or electricity indicates a signal of off or 0. These 8 vacuum tubes can store 8 bits or binary digits made up of ones or zeros. In 1946, the electronic numerical integrator and computer called ENIAC was built, and it has 18,000 vacuum tubes. It weighed 30 tons and occupied 1,500 square feet of floor space, and ENIAC is indeed a giant, colossal, gargantuan computer in the past. A few of these three-level machines were constructed during the 1950s. More were constructed during the 1960s. By 1970, the idea of having the ISA level can be interpreted by a microprogram instead of directly by the electronics was dominant. Micro instructions are low-level control instructions. Each micro instruction defines the set of data path control signals that must be asserted in a given state. Executing a micro instruction has the effect of asserting the control signals specified by the micro instruction. The term data path means the component of the processor that performs arithmetic operations, the arithmetic logic unit. That is the data path. Designing the control as a program that implements the machine instruction in terms of simpler micro-instructions is called microprogramming. The key idea is to represent the asserted values on the control lines symbolically, so that the microprogram is a representation of the micro-instructions, just as assembly language is a representation of the machine instructions. Microprogramming simplifies the control design. Microprogram example. A control unit is the most complex part in a processor. It sends a control signals to activate the data path of a processor. The microprogram example is the operation of the data path of the control unit being controlled by a microprogram. A control unit can be implemented in either hardwired or microprogram. A hardwired control unit is a large finite state machine sending control signals to data path. The term hardwired means directly wired or physically connected into the computer. A microprogram control unit is a complex programmable unit that outputs control signals to data path according to its microprogram. A microprogram control unit can be regarded as a simple computer. In this view, a processor has another simple processor inside it, which is its control unit. Controlling a data path is described by its microprogram. Hardwired control unit and microprogram control unit. This example diagram of a hardwired control unit. The hardwired control unit is made up of combinational logic circuits that performs the operation of the data path, or it performs arithmetic operations. On the other hand, the diagram below is an example of microprogram control unit. The microprogram control unit is stored in a high-speed memory that performs the operation of the data path, or it performs arithmetic operations. Data path. A microprogram is executed as follows. Number 1. A micro word at the location specified by the microprogram counter is read out. Control bits are latched at an output buffer which is connected to the data path. Number 2. If the conditional field is specified and the test for condition is true, the next address of microprogram will come from the next address field. Otherwise, the microprogram counter will be implemented or execute the next micro word. Here is an example of a microprogram for the data path. Fetch. The program counter register will fetch the memory address register from the main memory. The memory read will fetch the memory branch field, MBR. The memory branch field will fetch the instruction register, IR. The program counter will be added E1, pointing to the next memory address to be fetched. And then the fetch instruction or command will be decoded, and then after decoding it, it will go to the add, which is the execute Add here means it will perform an arithmetic operation to add numbers. For example, register at R2 will be added to register at R3 and it will be stored to this test variable t. The test variable t will store it to the another register at R1 and then it will go back to fetch the next instruction located at the current location of the program counter register. This is an example of a microprogram that will perform the data path for the control unit. Advantages of microprogramming. Making change to a hardwired control unit implies global change. That is, the circuit will be almost totally changed. Hence, it is costly and time-consuming, although the present computer-aided design tools do reduce most of the burden in this area. And contrary, for a microprogram control unit, making change to it is just changing the microprogram, the bit pattern in the micro memory or in that high-speed memory where it is stored. There is tools to generate this bit content from a human-readable microprogram. Hence, making change to microprogram is similar to edit compile a program like in Java, Python, C#, or assembly. The circuit for control unit does not change. This enables adding new instructions, modifies addressing mode, etc., or updating the version of control behavior or the microprogram code is easy to do. The benefits of microprogramming are it is easy to change the microprogram that enables adding new instruction, modifies addressing mode, etc. without modifying or changing the circuits. Second, microprogram implementation lessen the cost and time of the design of the CPU because there is no modification of the circuits. Disadvantages of microprogramming. Microprogram relies on fast micro memory or main memory. It requires high-speed memory. In fact, the architect of the early microprogram machine, like the IBM S360 family of computers in the past, depended on this crucial technology, which was still in the development at that time. The breakthrough in memory technology came and S360 became the most successful family of computers, the line of mainframe computers in the 1970s. Hardwired control unit is much faster. Microprogramming is inherently very low level, making it hard to be absolutely correct. Microprogramming is by nature concurrent or parallel or simultaneous. Many events occur at the same time, so it is difficult to develop and debug. The disadvantages of microprogramming are, number one, microprogram requires high-speed memory. Number two, microprogram is slow to perform the data path or the arithmetic operations. Number three, microprogram is difficult to develop and debug because it must be run concurrently or simultaneous or parallel to the many operations of the central processing unit. I posted your fifth assignment in our Google Classroom. Please answer and accomplish it.
That ends our topic for today. I hope you have learned in my class. Thank you for watching. Carry on until tomorrow. God bless us.